Welcome to the roundtable. I almost said convicted hearts, but we're on convicted hearts, but for the roundtable. I am here with some very special gentlemen tonight. We're going to talk about some current topics, get your guys' input, and then we are going to touch on some stuff that I really, hey Randy Jean, that I really want your guys' opinion on. Like, are we too old school, or does romance still exist? And that's not like a trick question. That can mean within your relationship, within your marriage. I would really like some input, and maybe we can help these young folks out. But with that said, let me bring in my brother, House of Tattoos, Tattoo Rabbit. How are you?
Good, Jen. How are you, girl? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing
Good.
good. And we got
Good.
the one and only Pastor Tony right out of Phoenix. How are you,
Hey,
What's
Pastor
up,
what?
Tony?
Tony? Pastor.
The
What's up,
heck? I
Pastor? How
pushed
you
the wrong
doing?
button. I didn't know I was on this. Awesome.
Right?
Hey,
Heart
you're
like
looking all
snake.
sharp today, man. Your hair's all combed and
I
everything,
had
man.
a I had a couple important meetings earlier today, so yeah, you guys got me on a good hair day.
Okay, nice. Nice.
I
Good
know how you feel,
timing.
bro. I know how you feel.
We got it all slick, right? That's good. I hope it went well, your meeting. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a dull, dreary day today. We were talking right before we went on, you guys, how it's kind of hot down there in Southern California and even more hot
Mhm.
in Phoenix, but it's
It's a
weird
dry
hot
heat.
here. Like it's
Do you
muggy
guys know what it
here.
means when people say it's a dry heat? Do you guys understand what that means? I didn't understand that till about
Explain
Yeah.
it to us
10 years ago.
if you can. What's the
Okay.
difference?
So they're like it's really hot in Phoenix, but it's a dry heat. So it's not till you go to like a Midwest city or East Coast or maybe some California stuff, but basically the moisture in the air apparently is what kills you, that humidity. So you see
Right.
Yeah.
people in Chicago, it's a heat wave of 95 degrees and people are dying and they're smoldering because
Yeah.
there's no escape of it. Like my wife's from Iowa, so we go to Iowa to visit her. It's like 90 degrees, but it's like the worst experience because there's nowhere to hide. In Arizona and Phoenix, all you need is a little sombrita. All you need is some shade and a fan, and you'll make it. But because it's just dry, so you can just be cool and drink water and you're good. But so that's what a dry heat is it's lacking the humidity, and that's humidity is what kills the people. Now, if you're standing in the sun,
Yes.
that'll kill you too. But you can hide from the sun. So yeah, that's my
I'm glad
1 minute.
you like broke that down because I've always wondered, like I hate to admit it, but I really have never been, well, one time, no, two times I've been out of California, but only to like neighboring states, Idaho and then Las Vegas. I went to Las Vegas once, but long time ago. So
I
when
think
people talk
yeah.
about, yeah, like how do they say in like Florida, it's tropical or humid or like it's a
Yeah,
different kind
yeah.
of heat. I
This
never
is what you
Humidity.
need, about a gallon or two to carry around with you in Florida, from what I heard from my nephew.
Exactly.
I mean, because it's so humid, you're just sweating
Sweating. Yeah,
constantly.
yeah.
You know,
The
Yeah,
humidity is the
yeah,
killer. Unless you stand in front of a sun all day, then that'll kill you. I mean, your
crust.
heat
right.
temperature goes up.
I went to well, he was like a school friend, but family friend. We went all through school with him. He was a big guy forever, like way back, high school. And his family moved to I think like Mississippi, like somewhere random. His dad owned a
Mhm,
trucking company,
mhm.
and he lost all kinds of weight when they moved. But he was like, it's the heat. Like I'm literally sweating myself to death daily.
Yeah, and over there it's real humid weather over there.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
yeah.
Yep.
So
crazy.
I kind of
So
like I like the California weather, but even where I'm at, of the outskirts of LA, there's a 10 degrees difference, but I'm good. But when we get the Arizona weather over here, like 120, 118, I'm like, no.
He's like,
they trusted. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
right?
wild, man.
Send mine to everybody in the chat there. I can see the chat
Right,
now. I
that's
got it on the
right.
side. Saludos to
See,
everybody, man, today.
right. Turbo says salute to the fellas
Yep.
on the panel.
Crusted,
That's
Randy Jean, Strange Days, Vanessa,
guys.
yeah,
Most definitely stay with us.
everybody.
We got some
Machete.
Machete, I know. Machete, I want to say this to you. Shout out to you. I saw you on, I mean, you were commenting or you were on a live. I won't even like, I can't even remember for sure whose it was, but I know that you spoke up and you basically, I mean, you spoke for the subscribers, the people, and I really appreciate the way you put it and how eloquently you spoke about, we can really just support each other, watch who we want to watch,
Mm.
tap in, but the way you put that, Machete, I was like, the next time I see him, which, I know you're a mod on the channel, so shout out to you and all my mods, but I wanted to say thank you for really making an example of how it should be. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah. That's definitely that's what pastor knows what's cracking him and how you should be, man.
yes, yes,
The pastor does,
Yeah.
That's true.
definitely.
Very true. I think I've seen that one too because the way he put it is it's
Yeah,
very true.
yeah. I
Oh
really
yeah.
liked that. It hit me, it resonated. It was like, you know what? I appreciate this coming from
You
obviously
know,
someone
you know what
that's,
I was reading in the Bible again. I go back to the book of Proverbs, which teaches you wisdom, man, and you get a lot of good fed stuff, which people should apply that to their daily lives,
Yeah.
and and I
absolutely.
think things would be a lot better, in life,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
No,
believe
man.
that.
Reading the Bible is essential. But from my perspective, just crying out to Jesus in general, that's really the beginning of it, right? You humble
That's true.
yourself, but
Very
then
true.
the Bible, man, kind of helps you kind of establish a relationship. I like my wife. I married her 9 months after I met her, so I thought I didn't know her a whole lot. I just knew I loved her and I wanted to be with her, man. And I wanted to be
Right?
like, I want her to be the one forever. But it wasn't until 17 years of marriage I get to know her, and I get to cherish her and know who she is inside and out, the weaknesses and the strengths. God doesn't have any
Mhm.
weaknesses. What I mean, like, I know my wife better than anyone on the planet. You know what I mean? And that's
Mhm.
kind of like it is with I think with the walk with the Lord. I think, okay, I
Yeah.
love Him. He set me free. He gave me a hope of a future. But reading His
Right.
Bible, reading the Bible, I really get to know Him. Sometimes I don't understand, but I know Him and I trust Him, and His thoughts are bigger than ours. So as you spoke wisely,
Yeah.
um,
I
Absolutely,
agree with
man.
that, Pastor. Amen
Yep.
to that. So let's just to let the people know what we've been doing over the last weekend, because we love everyone tapping in. We want them to keep up with us. What did you have going on this past weekend, Pastor Tony? Anything
oh,
exciting? I know you had church
uh,
service, right?
went to a car. Well, man, I tell you, like I said, I've been married for 17 years. We got three girls, 13 and below, and they're in their first play outside of a church setting. So that was cool. We saw them acting,
All
and
right.
then I took my wife out. Those plays are 3 nights, so we chose the middle night. I think we didn't choose it. We had an opportunity to go and skip out on their play and have an actual date night, man. Most of the date nights we have, you can use, it's just my wife and I face to face with a candle, and then if you pan out, there's like 7 other people that are with us from church. It looks real romantic about
Right.
right here, but like
Yeah,
always, when
yeah.
you pan out and you hear the kids going, "Dad, Mom, what are we getting for dessert?" It's never alone. There's always someone around us. But this time we actually, I succeeded. 17 years of trying to blow my wife's mind. I succeeded,
Yes.
and she did something that she was super grateful for. Like, I could wash the dishes and stuff like that, but then I'm just miserable, So,
Salud,
but I got her concert ticket to a band that she hadn't seen since her college days, like 25 years ago, and yeah, man, we enjoyed it, and it was. I felt really good. I finally got it right, Finally got something done for her that she wouldn't have done for herself, but she would have, So that was cool. That's my highlight for the week, And then, like I said, I had this meeting. This guy that runs the chaplain prison ministry, he's the chaplain of Arizona. He works for the governor. He works for the state, and he's the head honcho, man. And for the last 4 meetings I've had with him, I've been trying to get the courage to say, hey, I used to be in prison, but because I know him through that professional level, and because we were students together and all this stuff. Apparently, he's not aware of my background. From 25 years ago, 27 years ago. So I was like, today's the day. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna say, hey man, you know who you're talking to? You keep on talking about these incarcerated people, these felons. Like I don't know who they talk. Like we need to talk to different. I was gonna go there and try to be like real gracious about it. I'm him. What is that movie where he's like, that was Bible. It was a Bible story, but I just want to say, the guy you're always talking about, it's me, man. That's the guy you're talking about. That kid. But I did it. I fired up again because we're having such a good old time, good old conversation, and we're just talking about everything, but not prison. And I got fired up again. I didn't want to blow my friendship with this guy because I'm like, wow, this is a real friend, good friend to have. So I say that this is like the third time I confess this, probably on the internet. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm hoping the next time I talk to him, I'll be like, Simon Scared, bro. Prison numbers right here on my chest.
Hey, Pastor, in due time, that will happen. When it's time. But hey, you know what? And somebody shouldn't look bad at you because you've been in prison. You know what I'm saying? We all have our things, but God can change your life around, and you know that because you're a pastor now. And so there's nothing wrong with that. In due time, that's gonna happen, bro.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, just the introduction of like what you did this weekend already hit on key points of what we're going to talk about, and it's a blessing to all of us that you shared that. Praise God. I've talked to people that have no idea of my. I don't say my background, but what I've been through, within my family unit. And sometimes I'll just sit there in awe, like, God, did you really just put this person in my path? Like, they have no idea. But we can relate on a ground that it just blows my mind,
Yeah. You see, nobody knows the shoes that you want that you walk in until they've been in there. But you know what? Things like that happen. Things happen. It's part of life. But it's how we deal with situations. And I found out that giving myself to the Lord and letting Him take control helps me through a lot of things. Man, He carries me, and that's a true fact right there.
Yeah,
you definitely need by example, brother. That's for sure. I've witnessed it. I appreciate it. You guys check out eVision in the house. He's got a channel. Go check him out.
Saludos eVision, Jojo AZ,
Jojo
Andrew
AZ.
Martinez.
Jojo, I was waiting to see if you tap in. Machete, that's right. We got all the gente in the house. So, House, what did you do this last weekend?
It was a working weekend and partially chill, busy. My thing blew down. What do they call that? Sails that you put up to give you shade.
Mm-hmm.
So they broke, so that I had to go up there and fix them. Then I spent some time with my neighbor down the street and just chill. Basically, I seen Crust. Crust came by one day and Crust said 13. Yeah, he came by one day, saw him for a little bit, man. He's a good guy right there, man. And we talked it and chopped it up about good things, man. Good. We had a good conversation. He calls me up. We have a good conversation over the phone, man. And it's all about real good stuff, man. Real good stuff. Yeah, but that's about it. Nothing really exciting, but in time it's going to happen. I've been paying attention to my car more and getting everything going for my trip is what I'm going to do, for my venture. So, so that's what I'm doing. I'm putting money into the vehicle to make sure it's completely cool, and reliable.
I feel like Vanna White right here. Look. That's right, Jojo. Thank you. Sharon,
can I get an A? An A?
But I love that. And you had mentioned you're putting more time into your car, and I love seeing that, hearing that.
Yeah,
it's
I'm actually kind of like it's not a new car, but what I'm doing is giving it a sleek look and gonna make it look more nicer. That's just me. You know how I roll with my old cars and this and that, but
Yeah.
it's a newer car, so I'd like to give it a style. So I'm gonna give a little love to that car instead of looking just stock.
Mm.
Yeah,
Right. Put a little love into it. That's right.
yeah,
That's right. We're going to talk
yeah,
about putting a little love into our lives in a little bit
yeah.
here, but I wanted to, well, I'm going to just say my weekend was not super eventful, but I did go. This is so crazy. My daughter, one morning, my 18-year-old, she woke up. She said, Mom, I want a cat. For those of you that know, you know I have 6 cats already. And I'm not the crazy cat lady. I might be crazy, but I wouldn't call myself a crazy cat lady. So I have
If I see
I
you come
can't
on the thing with those ears on, then we'll call you a crazy cat lady. Okay,
yeah, I know, right?
okay.
I got my cat. They go outside, and I've got my dog inside. So I took her to the SPCA. She's just like petting the cats, checking out the dogs. They've got bearded dragons. They had doves. They
Wow.
had what was that other bird? Pigeon, a big pigeon. Just to kind of spend a little time together and show some love to the animals. Um, Thank you, Jojo. That's right. And so that was like not yesterday, but the day before. So what was that Saturday? I'm like, Lord, I cannot say no to an animal. I have always loved animals. So yesterday, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this is how it goes with my kids. They know how to get me. My youngest son shows up. I should have brought him in here, but I'll post a little picture or video. A little tiny orange kitten.
Wow.
So cute. I'm like, how in the world did you come up with this little kitty when the day before my daughter was like, oh, I want to adopt a cat. I'm like, $150 to adopt a cat. I'll go find you a cat.
Right.
So this little kitten that showed up at his work out of nowhere, he shows up. I'm like, okay, we're just gonna call you lucky number 7, I think, because that's
There you
it.
go.
That's it. Like we have reached our cap, you know. But yeah, we have a
So is
yeah.
the cat's name going to be Lucky Number 7 or Lucky?
Yeah.
I want to name him that, but the kids are still fighting over the name. I'm like, we got to think of something good. Our cats have pretty cool names. I have to admit, they've got pretty cool little
Yeah.
names. I'm like, I don't know what to name an orange cat. I think you had a good suggestion, House. I feel like you
Oh,
had the best
Tigger.
suggestion.
Yeah, Tigger. Don't call it
Yeah,
Pumpkin. We used to have a cat like that called named Pumpkin. But Tigger, look, it kind of resembles with the
yeah,
stripes and just the color and stuff.
right.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
right. Yeah, so we got a little Tigger here. We'll see how it goes. If the kids accept that.
See, I'm allergic to cats, so I'm okay. Or
No.
my ex used to have cats, and I wondered why I couldn't sleep at night. My sinuses and everything, and
Yeah,
finally the doctor told me just recently, "Oh, you're allergic to cats." And I said, "Well, wow." So,
yeah, yeah.
and,
My
and they're all
stepdad.
right. They're good pets, but I can't have it. Cats for me.
Here's the thing.
No,
You name your cat Tigger and he's lost. And
no.
you're going to be yelling on the top of your head, Tigger. But about 25 feet away, people are not going to hear Tigger.
Oh
So,
no. Yep. You know what I wanted to
Good
call him?
point.
Tangelo. I always remember that George.
Tang-
I know some people hate on George Lopez, but he's like, oh, the people because he has a house out here in Carmel somewhere. He's like, oh, the people, the neighbors, the rich neighbors will have the little thing to cut the fruit, the tangelos. I'm like,
yeah.
tangelo? What's a tangelo? It's like a
Yeah.
tangerine and a orange or something. I'm like,
Yeah,
what
those Tangelos.
Hey, Strange
Tangelo.
Day, tuned in. If you can, brother, we're gonna get you through your shift. Just like on Sunday, that was so cool because Sunday, out of nowhere, we're like, you know what? I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna hit Denise up, see what's up. And Strange Days, you got to like listen on your way home, I think, right?
Yeah, I
So
dropped in for a few, man, but I was so tired. I got like 4 hours of
yeah,
sleep the night before. So I was running on fumes. So I says, just go to sleep. Just let it happen. Go to sleep.
Right. Let it do its thing, right?
I'm blaming it on Crust, late night
Yeah.
Crust. He's a night owl.
Oh,
Yeah, it is.
that's the time right now. I feel like I gotta stay up. I gotta like be a grown up and stay up late one night so I can tap it. Right?
What I like about
But
Crusted, he's so animative. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
yeah,
can bust out with all the old school moves. You can tell
yeah,
the guy has a soft heart. He's like an open book.
exactly.
That's his strength, right? He's very like what you see is what you get. It's kind of hard not to respect or appreciate a guy like Crusted. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I like Crusted, man.
yeah. He's a good guy.
I hope
Like,
he's still. I hope he's still on the wagon or
He's
whatever he
doing.
was
Hey, he's
on.
doing good, man. Hey, I'm proud of him, man. I'm really proud of
Yeah,
that man right there, man. He says he's a
right
brother,
on.
man. I'm calling him a brother, and he's a brother right
That's
there.
right.
Yeah.
You're one of the brothers for sure. You
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
can please hit the thumbs up. That would help get us out there to more people to like tap in, see us. But one thing I wanted to mention is Sunday. So, right, it was like a last minute out of nowhere, like, let's go live. I'm going to go live. And I read a little bit of a news article out of, I believe it was Chicago, Cook County. And there was a 35-year-old woman there, a mom, who went into this, I think it was like a hot dog hamburger stand to get food. For whatever reason, something happened, and an altercation began while she was standing up front to get the food. Her 14-year-old son was in the car. And
Mhm.
now that I have had a chance to go back and look at some of the documentation and things that are coming out, it's sort of opened my eyes to so many different situations that could happen. But here's in the initial moment what it looked like. So she's getting an altercation comes up where for whatever reason there's a guy there that's like really aggressively talking to her. I wouldn't even say talking, really. He's coming at her. And for some reason, he ends up hitting her, popping her 2, 3 times. I mean, I'm not even talking about just backhanding. He punches her right on in like the face and the head. A
You could
woman.
hear those punches. I seen that. You could hear
Yeah.
those punches. Yeah.
Okay. So you heard it
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
somehow in the midst of all that, she's able to text her son, a 14-year-old child who's in the car, and say something like, come inside. I'm not sure the details of the text, so I don't want to, put my assumptions out there, but we can talk about it in a minute. The son comes to the door, and he has his hands in his sweatshirt. Mind you, the mother, now I'll go back on this because it has been confirmed. The mother has a carry concealed permit for a firearm that was in the vehicle. So the son comes to the door. About the time he opens the door, he witnesses his mom getting, punched in the face and head. He opens fire, and that individual that was hurting his mother lost his life that night.
Gee.
The mother and the 14-year-old son were booked in Cook County, and they were being held on $3 million bail. I felt some kind of way just thinking from a mom's perspective, like, okay, if my son walked upon you guys, you can tell me from your own perspectives as young men how that would have affected you. But let's say my son, God forbid, 14 years old, walked in on me being assaulted. What could have happened or taken place? I don't know the small talk. I don't know the details. So anybody out there that's watching, we're talking just like everyday people. We don't know the ins and outs, all the technicalities. But, a 14-year-old walks in and sees mom being punched by a grown man. How in the world are you supposed to respond? Like, can you, either one of you, like, Pastor Tony, maybe, how would you imagine walking into them? How would you
Yeah.
respond?
Yeah, you respond what you react, what you do. Yeah, we always hear these stories about, call the police. Like, no, man, you gotta act. Yeah, I think it was natural responses to it, to defend, you know. Yeah, I think it'd be kind of weird to run away or not to do anything. At least
Yeah.
try screaming or whatever, grab something, grab a, yeah, if I was in that scenario, I'd grab whatever I had good. And yeah, man,
Yeah.
it's wild.
Yeah, that's
I'll-
on site, man. It just like you see somebody touch my mom, that's it. Just if I have something on me, I mean, I guess he know. See, the thing was is he she texted him. She had the time to text him, right? And I guess the son knew where he had her weapon because I don't know, but you're not supposed to carry the weapons in California with your gun and your ammo in the same area. One has to be in the trunk and in the glove compartment. But I guess he had enough time to go get it. Wherever it was at, and come in and do what he did. But she was taking a beating, and who knows how far that man would have went. And what could have really happened. It could have gone worse. And
Right.
so from what I was reading is that he shot him 2 times. He shot him once, and then he shot him again. I guess he was turned away or going out. And yeah, and then he ended up dying. But stuff like that is, me personally, I don't like witnessing any man beat up on a woman. Because I don't. That's me. I never did, because I broke the cycle. Let's put it that way, because that was in my family, like I mentioned before. So I broke the cycle, and I don't dig stuff like that. And so
Right.
me, if I would have seen that, it's automatic. Get them, and doesn't matter how bad you're gonna hurt them. Get them.
My, sorry, when my dad was 19 when he got married and I was born. So he was about 18 when he hooked up with my mom. And my mom had little brothers, like 14, 15-year-olds, and they were driving, following my dad and my mom. And my teenage dad was arguing with my mom. He apparently popped her while they were driving. And my teenage nephews driving behind them saw it. So as soon as pulled over, my mom gets out of the car crying and runs into the place. My mom's 18 years old. My dad's 18 years old. They're kids themselves. But my uncles are like 14 and 15 driving. They get out the car. They go in the trunk. They're grabbing the wrench for the tires, the iron tire. They got weapons. And rather than kicking my dad's butt, which they probably could have, they destroyed his new Challenger, 19 like Dukes of Hazzard's
Wow.
Charger or Challenger.
Yeah.
Beautiful car. He said it scared him. They destroyed his vehicle. So I think my dad was fortunate. He admits to being a dummy back in those days. Before he gets a chance to confess anything, or before we get a chance to ask him about anything, he's right away like, "Hey, I was not the same guy I am today back then, so I'm sorry if this is about to be past." Like already, like I'm sorry. Let's not talk about it. I really screwed up back in those days. But that was my uncle's response. Like, no, you don't do that. So rather than killing you, we're gonna mess up apparently the favorite thing you have in the world. And they busted my car, man. It was completely total on the outside. So yeah, there's just something instinctively that we do, man, like to defend. Like I got after my girls, like, hey, we're the Paleos. We are our first a protection here. We got to protect each other, not fight with each other, not trying to hurt each other, So yeah, man, maybe that's just my thinking, but yeah, man, I agree with House 100%. I think it's more.
Pastor, back in the days, I don't know how old your dad is, but in my days, it was the bumper jacks that were accessible in the trunk, man.
Wow,
They had these big, long steel bars to jack up the cars back in the days.
Oh
you know?
yeah, the long ones. The
Yeah.
Jeeps use them still.
And,
Yeah.
and those are definitely something that were used back then. You go, hey,
Probably
let's go
had 'em,
bumper
man.
jack the car, and they'd pull out a bunch of them, bam, bam, and just jack up the car. And
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
times have changed
1975.
now. And,
1975. So that probably was that era. Mhm.
yeah, they're true. We're trigger happy. Now it's people are just trigger happy, and they're carrying around some of the most deadliest weapons around. Yeah.
That's right.
Before, I mean, you had revolvers, shotguns, and stuff like that. Now it's some serious guns out there now.
For real, for real. Okay, so let's tap Denise in real quick. Hey, sister, how are you?
Denise,
Hey guys.
Hey,
Denise
we
and
got
Brenda Love.
That's right.
Hello, Brenda Love.
Right?
Denise.
How you guys
Birthday?
doing?
Is it your birthday, Brenda Love?
Yeah. It's
Happy birthday, Mia. Have a blessed day. Happy birthday. Wishing you all best wishes, Mia.
Hi, look at the ladies right here. So happy to see both of you.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
Good. We're chopping it up,
Right on.
some new topics, but you are
House.
missed, and it's
Tony.
good to see both of you.
Yeah, we're all here.
Nice.
Sitting back.
There you
Uh-oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that Las Vegas?
Kicking it by the pool with Brenda
Okay.
Love.
It looks like
Happy
Vegas.
birthday, Brenda.
Thank you.
Birthday, Brenda.
Yes.
Much love to you, girl.
Many, many more.
He's from a balloon and a card and some tacos.
Oh,
Right, all right.
that's sweet.
Oh, man, that's
That's
Thank you,
sweet.
guys.
That's what's up.
All right, you guys. We just wanted to come in and say hello.
Enjoy your day, Brenda. Have a blessed one.
Have a
We're
blessed
watching
one.
you.
Happy birthday. Okay,
Happy
God
birthday,
bless,
Brenda.
guys.
All right, guys.
Hi, Denise.
That's what's up. Much love.
That's what's
you know,
up. Brenda's
shout out to
birthday.
love, happy birthday. We gotta celebrate, right? Like we gotta celebrate our life, each other's life. But that's
Yeah.
something. You guys answering or giving your opinion on that situation. I was wondering because that would be different for I think a son to experience and witness seeing his mother being assaulted. Since that story I mentioned, and it happened in Cook County, so it's Chicago. There's a lot of violence that takes place there, from what I understand, and fortunately, and I don't know the details of it, but the charges were dropped,
Oh.
and the mom and the son were, obviously let out after charges being dropped.
Okay.
And now the mother has filed suit against the city. So I'm not sure the details of that. She came forward in a press conference with her attorneys. I'm sure they're going to be, filling in the blanks on that soon. But she is filing a lawsuit. And something that I noticed the attorneys really so much say that they said is, what person would be, how is this okay that this woman was assaulted, attacked, and then immediately arrested and charged with her minor son?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something came to light where on either the video or text messages or both, which led the city to dropping charges. So
Well,
I guess,
you know what? I was reading up on some of the stuff about the gun laws in Chicago, right? And they're real strict in Chicago about that, And so anything like unlawful use of any kind of weapon or anything brass knuckles or whatever, they really go to press charges. So maybe that's part of their what they did in that case, instead she was being assaulted instead of arresting her, and I don't want to get into all these color situations, but that's probably why they arrest, who knows, man, who knows,
yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see, right? What time will tell
Yeah.
what's going to happen, coming up. I just wanted to touch on also real quick, only because the last roundtable we were speaking on this case, and it didn't end well, but just so if people weren't getting their news anywhere else and they happened to hear us last week, that situation with this
The
that was
submersible.
going down, yeah, that was going down to view the Titanic wreckage. Unfortunately, all 5 lives were lost.
Yeah.
And it appears that within, I think, an hour and a half, an hour of them going down, they believe that it imploded. So if anyone that was watching last week, and we were, last week, remember, we were like, oh, they've got 40 more hours or such and such of oxygen. We're still hopeful.
They were already gone, and the government knew. They heard that implosion, but they can't talk about it because it was this top secret equipment that they had. But so they knew all along, but everybody was still praying for them because I was watching this one guy talking about it. But the good, I'm not saying it's good. It's a loss of life is not a good thing, but it's quickly like that. You can't even imagine when an implosion happened. Like I was watching how they tested things. It happens a millisecond, 100 of a millisecond or something like that. You don't even know it's happening. So that's it. Your brain doesn't, by the time it goes, you're squashed and everything, not to be gross or nothing like that, before your brain can even think about it. So you don't feel nothing. Thank God for that. You know what I'm saying? They didn't suffer, which is a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. Even talking to my
Yeah.
mom, I was like, oh, God willing, it was instant. Yeah, from Pride Clothing, like you
Yeah.
said right here. Yeah, it was instant. Death. I hate to even talk about it or think about it. You would
Yeah.
hope that it was something that was pretty quick, and that they
Yeah.
weren't
Yeah. That's
either
that's
confused.
I mean, it's a disturbing but peaceful death. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it,
Yeah,
but I've overcooked food in the microwave and it blew up everywhere, and I'm just like, is that like the opposite of that? Like,
yeah,
Yeah, man. What happened in an implosion? Instead of exploding, it just goes inward. So
right.
everything's just like liquefied and disintegrated, just like tore up, bro. I was watching them putting actually glass cylinders in one thing, testing it because I was watching that. I said I want to find out a little bit more about it, and it just everything just boom, it shatters like this. So the body is a soft tissue, even in the bone, just pulverizes it is what it basically does. You know, so not to
Yeah.
sound gross or nothing, but uh, I think that's a better way of going than suffering. Like I can't breathe, and then going through all this trauma. You know, uh, that's a better way of going. That's
I
better.
bet they knew that too. I bet, because some of these people were like billionaires, right? Like super
Yeah,
rich.
they all were, I believe.
I'm thinking they
Yeah.
count that cost, like, if we die, we won't even know it.
Yeah.
It'll be so quick. So it's like maybe they thought that, like, it's worth the risk. We won't even realize we're dead by the time we're dead. I don't
Mhm.
know. Maybe that was
I think
part of
that's
the
true. I think that's true. I just wanted to make sure and run that through, our episode tonight so people could hear about it. I'm sure most people have heard somehow on the news, but if
Yeah.
not, I touched on it last week. I wanted to make sure we mentioned it. But going into our next subject, this should be a little more of a lifting feeling, unless you're just a total bummer of a person. Let's see. Um, I really am curious to ask everyone, and including in the comments, but I saw a music show, and a few different things in life that have been making me wonder. And here's what I'll put it out there to you guys like this: does romance still exist? Is it out there? Does it exist? And what does it look like to you? House, I'm going to start with
You,
you.
okay. Romance Okay, say the question again. Does romance exist still?
So let's stop for a moment. Yeah, let's
Okay.
all like give each other a minute to think because I think we're all like this category where we think, okay, does it still exist? Does romance still exist? For example, I was watching, and not that romance exists around music, but I was watching an award show last night, and it was so like everything I saw was pretty vulgar, foul. Uh, there was after show stuff that came up, and oh, so and so was mad at their man for this and that, not saving them a seat. I don't know. Don't put me in on any of that. But it made me start thinking. I know
You
it
know
sounds
what?
crazy.
Denise, I mean, it does exist still, and I figure in the older generation, definitely. Younger generation, things are changing. You know what I'm saying? And because I speak to these people, and even when you're getting older, hold on one second.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm
Even when
calling
you're
them right
getting
now.
older, like I talked to a friend, and romance is there still for him, and which is a good thing, man. And I'm old school. I believe in still walking on the outside of a woman. I believe still opening the door for a woman. I believe, helping a woman and providing for a woman. Now, the stuff that, like, say she had a job, right? And that money's hers specifically. A man, I feel like, is the provider, but the times are changing now, and I understand that. But in order to keep a relationship going, you have to have romance in it. I feel, because without that, it gets boring. You know,
Right.
it,
That's
it,
right.
it life it gets very boring. Yeah.
I feel you on that. Real quick, Sinaloa 760, romance still exists to the people that keep those morals alive.
Correct. Correct.
We do live in a effed up era now. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
You know
tell
what?
you how.
Society actually plays a part in turning it the opposite direction. And I see that, but I came up like Happy Days or what are those old movies. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
all the love was there, and the totally different from now back then to now. But it's a good thing, man. And sometimes some women are surprised by, like, oh wow, look at this person. He's romantic or whatever, or this and that. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Yeah.
good. It's a good thing in a relationship, or not just that, just in general, man, because it's a good thing, man. It's good. Because the other stuff is just like, maybe I'll see you later on or whatever. Maybe I won't. It's like the
What I'm
way they
saying.
show
Yeah.
it on
Yeah.
TV now. You could be married one day and divorced the next, or next couple days. But
Yeah.
romance, it keeps your relationship strong. I see an older couple in their 90s, and he was still hugging her, still kissing her, and still dancing with her. I like to see that stuff, man. And that's what love is. That's what love is, man. Because the other stuff is not. Saludos, cholo. Yeah, but that's how I feel. I feel like, it's still out there, but it depends on the individual and stuff. But it's a good thing to have. It's a good thing to have. But some people choose not to, and they're
Yeah.
entitled.
That's right. Absolutely. Shout out to everyone that's tapping in. Trucker, Geronimo, Brown Pride Clothing, Broken Home Podcast. I have something possibly coming up with them soon. You guys stay tapped in. I'll share it on the community page. But I feel like this is something like a topic. I mean, even within marriage, Pastor Tony, is romance like a thing
Is there
anymore?
romance? Well, you know, man, when you're trying to woo a woman, like you really like her, you
Mhm.
do everything you can to make sure that you don't leave any stone unturned to make sure she knows that you are pursuing her. You love, you want to be, you want her to be your lady, or yeah, vice versa. But
Yeah.
I hadn't opened the door for my wife in probably a couple of years. So we got kids. We're just worried and making sure. All I'm making sure is, are the kids in the car? And
Yeah.
then after that, did the kids get out the car?
Where
We
the
don't want the
kids?
kids in the car. We want them out. We want them in. That's the focus. There's the kids not behind the car. You know what I mean? So that's all the focus is. But we went on this date thing, man, and yours truly opened the door up, got in the bushes, trying to open the door for her, and there was an audience. Made it more awkward for me, and my, everything in me is like, they'll probably think you're weird, what, or whatever, I did it, man. It felt pretty good, and I gotta do it more often. So yes,
That's
it
true.
only dies if you let it. You know
Yeah.
what? My dad gave me advice, and he's probably he's not watching this, but he's in Michoacan on vacation right now. But he said his marital advice was, son, women change. And I'm like, huh,
Yeah.
that's kind of, thanks, Dad. And then I told my mentor, my pastor at the time, I said, hey, my dad told me that women change. This is like weeks before Michelle and I got married. And he said, you know why they change, Tony? Because we treat them wrong, and they don't stay a sweet person that they were when you meet them. He's telling me this before I even get married. So he's saying they change good, or for the worse or for the better. It depends on how we treat them. They'll be stick by your side, but if they're going to be a blossoming flower, or they're going to be, rough around the edges and angry and bitter, that depends on how we treat them. So, man, I'm still working on that, and I'm still growing in
Yeah.
it. But I definitely believe that the romance is necessary. I also think keeping ourselves as healthy as possible is just as important, but you know,
Absolutely. Yeah,
it helps that I look at my wife, like I look at, like she's still the same woman I married 17 years ago. She hasn't changed a whole lot, and that's kind of easy for me to like still like, wow, you're
Yeah.
still hot, I mean,
Yeah.
and you think, when I was growing up, 47 years old, it's like, man, you're over the hill. You got a big white beard. You're all, you know, just look old, man. And now I'm 47. I'm like, oh man,
Hold on,
I don't think
Tony.
I look
Hold
old,
on,
but maybe I
Tony.
do. That's all.
I'll be 60, man, but you know what?
Dang.
Hey, I'll be 60 pretty soon. But you know what? I don't
Both of
feel
my
it
brothers look
inside.
good right
No,
here. Let me just say, both of my brothers right here, they look good. You guys give them,
Thank
give
you,
them
Jen.
some love. Give them a shout out.
I'm
Shout
not
out.
You know
60,
what?
but thank
That's
you.
the key thing. You know what? I have primos. Rest in peace. They look young, and my dad, he's 97, and I call him. I think about him, Benjamin Button, because he's looking younger as he's getting older, man. And then but the thing is keep active and never let it die down, man. Always do things for your lady, because you know what? When you stop doing it is when sometimes they might try to veer off some other direction. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not getting that feeling that they used to get from you. And that's not good. But I'm speaking, and I've been married 2 times, and 2 marriages. The first one, things happen, and it just blame it on the alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Not my part, but things happen. But you know what? I'm open to love. You know what I'm saying? And I still like romance, and I still like all that other stuff, because it's a good thing, man. Even at my age, gonna.
Yeah, I
Right.
feel like it matters, right? Like when I first thought of this subject, I'm like, does it even like, and I feel like I'm pretty in touch with not just myself, but with my brother, my friends. Does it really matter to guys? But I feel like it does. And I feel like a lot of women, even my own friends, they don't think it does. So when I used to bring up certain things like, yeah, it's important to, um, greet him when he comes home, greet him with a smile. Like, you got a warm meal, like something to make, like those things matter. And honestly, like some of my friends would just laugh at me and clown me for that. Some of them probably still would if I talked about it. It's just things are different now.
Hmm.
But I feel like they would be like, "Oh, Jen, come on, that's so lame. That's so old
Right,
school.
right.
That's so." But hey, clown me if you want, but you greet your man at the door with a warm meal, a foot massage. You know what I mean?
Hey.
Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Like, if you tell someone there's ways, and I'm sorry, guys, you guys are my brothers, but I'm like, there are ways to show your love and appreciation in a marriage, in a relationship. And it
Sometimes, well,
matters.
they say, hold on. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
Al.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I'll say once I get my throwback.
Okay, all right, Pat Tony. Am I wrong? Am I wrong for that?
I was just thinking, like, no, absolutely, you're right, man.
Okay.
It's. I feel like my wife does 1,000 jobs, you know,
That.
and then I add on top of it. But with that said, I do feel like why don't I wash this dish? I just put it on the side, like I have to impuesto of my
Yeah.
of my dishwashing girl to come and do my dish, and I'm it's getting to the point this year more than ever where I'm like I'm like waiting for her to say I ain't washing one more dish you put over there. You need to wash that yourself. So yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to get I'm not trying to get dish shamed, but I'm starting to feel like, okay, Tony. And she mentioned earlier today something about dishes, and I was like, I know you've been reading my diary. No, I don't have a diary,
Hey, yeah.
but I just feel like, man, if the girls are going to if the girls are going to learn how to do these dishes and help around, I think Dad needs to also be an exemplar, have an example as well, not just my wife, because yeah, my wife she takes on a big brunt of it, right? And I
You
think
know,
that my wife will be feel more loved and appreciated if we just did these things that she does. She made the worst mistake 17 years ago. I told her, hey, babe, let other people do the dishes. Like, no, I like doing dishes. 17 years ago, she said that. And, she's
Yeah.
still doing them. And I'm like,
yeah.
okay, all right. I got to step in. I got to step in and wash these dishes. So you
You know,
guys
some,
pray for me because it's hard. It's like
Yes, we're
exercising.
praying for you.
Oh, it's hot.
you know,
Right? But you know
sometimes
what?
I see in a relationship that I had some my second relationship. Uh, a housewife job is not easy, man. When she cooks, cleans, does things, and all this other stuff. This one was my second wife. I mean, and she'll have a part time job if she wanted to, but all the it's not like she spent the money on. I told her whatever she spent the money on, it's okay because I provided for the home. You know what I'm saying? But to me, it's like being a housewife. You have to show them you appreciate it because man, when you come home and everything's all clean, there's food on the table and things are done. It's a good thing, man. It's a good thing, you know.
Yeah.
And so you got to show them you appreciate them. Cook them dinner, take them out, do something for them, do something real special. Take them somewhere special, and show them that hey, I appreciate all you're doing because doing that is not an easy job. Now that I'm single, now that I'm solo and I live solo, I wash the dishes, I wash my clothes, I do all this. It's a mission. All that stuff's a
Yeah.
mission, man. My house is clean, but it's a mission. So it doesn't. So you gotta appreciate your spouse or your significant other, whatever.
Partner.
Yeah, your
Totally.
partner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I agree.
definitely.
I definitely agree. And I feel like, I don't know, I've been in different situations where like I'm doing 100% of everything in the house. And if I feel like that person is pulling their weight as far as like, hey, I'm holding it down, taking care, I'm taking care of the bills, this, that, and check it out. And this won't go over like great with some women, but this is me. I'm gonna speak from my heart. I will do what my part in the house. Like if I feel like he's taking care of things on the home front, like paying the bills, doing this, that, and the other, I'm gonna make sure things are comfortable at home.
Hmm.
And I think in my life, in my situation, I'm okay with that.
Hmm.
Not that I think, I am okay with that. Now, if you're not, ladies, that's you. I respect you. That's just not me.
Yeah.
If I'm in a situation where I'm happy to beg you to throw in on one bill, plus I'm doing the cooking, the cleaning, the running the kids here, there, everywhere, it's eventually going to cause its damage. And romance is going to, you know,
Yeah.
it's going to go under, and you start to feel, man or woman, you start to feel like, I don't even know how I could think about romance when I'm trying to think about how I'm going to get the phones paid by 12 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And nobody else cares but me.
Well, that should be part of both people knowing what's going on in the household. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, even if the woman takes care of the pain and this and that, but the man should know also, be on the up and up. You know what I'm saying? What got to be done, and priorities have to be first. What's first before other things. Some people like materialistic things. And materialistic things come and go, man. There's simple
Yeah.
things in life that you can do for a woman or do for somebody, a man, either or, and it's basic and it means a lot, and they'll remember that. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I agree with that. Like,
yeah,
I have, I don't know. And maybe I feel like, yes, I do like some pretty things, some nice things, but also the way I came up, I know how to maybe get those things at a discount, or there's different ways. I mean, I have an aunt that, like, she's always coming across things, and it doesn't bother me to get things secondhand. And that might be clowned or laughed at by some others, but that doesn't make me feel bad, okay? It just doesn't. And that's how my life, since I was a kid, it's always been that way. And if it bothered me, I guess I would figure out a way to change it, but it doesn't bother me.
Jen, can I ask you a question, Jen?
Sure.
Are you one of those ladies that don't touch the towels in the bathroom?
Touch the towels, wash the towels, fold the towels. No,
No, yeah.
I mean,
I
give me
used
an
to in
example.
my second relationship. I used to come home and I was tired. 16 hours worked a day. 16 hours. I come home,
Okay.
and I love seeing that bed and relax a little bit first, or
Okay.
this and that. And but this everything that's in the bathroom, they have their own separate towels for that. Those are for looks. Don't touch that. And the
Oh,
bed was all made
yes.
up with these puffy pillows and stuff. You can't lie in that comforter.
Yeah. No, okay. Now I get what you're saying. Yes. Like yeah, I mean, every household, I think, like even right here, Trello says that, Bill takes care of the laundry, dishes, and cooking. That's great. And I'm sure she takes great pride in that. She does
Yeah,
a
yeah,
wonderful job. And you appreciate that.
yeah,
I, I really enjoy doing the same, but if that's not reciprocated by someone, and it's just like, that's your job, you're a woman. And I'm like, what's your job though?
right.
Like sometimes it can really cause a division if you don't feel there's give and take, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
And it sucks to think like romance is give and take, but it can be.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're being shorted or gypped, like, then you're gonna start to feel like, I don't feel like putting in that extra.
In a relationship that will help, always be a giver, man. Always. And if you're both givers, I don't think anything could go wrong. But I have a question for Pastor. Pastor, can you give us a biblical aspect to this thing right here? Can you give us something about the Bible, how a man should treat a woman and a woman, how it
Well,
goes?
back when I was working with a House of Rest out there with Pastor David Rocha, I would always try to get him to. He'd always ask, what should we do on Wednesdays? What's the next book? I say, hey, let's do Song of Solomon. And he's like, anyone else? And it's because
Yeah.
Song of Solomon has some
Hard.
sexual, intimate stuff in there. And one Bible verse that comes out because, it says, let her raising cakes, let her raising cakes kind of like take up your youth, whatever. It's like raisin cakes. So then if you look a little bit in the scripture, just a little graphic here. I hope this is PG-13. But I think Solomon was referring to like an African American girl he was with at the time, And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess raisin cake sounds about right. Raisin cakes, what the heck? But anyway, I'm just saying there's stuff like that in the Bible, in the Song of Solomon. So there's an element of like, the Bible is God inspired, so if God inspired that to be written, and I have to believe God wants us to be romantic and wants us to enjoy each other, intimately. And there was just a bunch of love and a lot of romantic going on. Go ahead and check it out for yourself. There's a reason why you never hear at church preaching on it. But go ahead, put it on the YouTube, type in Song of Solomon, and just listen to it. Like, House is gonna be like, dang, I gotta get married. 3's on down the pipe. But anyway, it was part of our premarital. We read it. And it was like, oh wow, I can't get ready to get married. But I'd say the Bible says Jesus Christ. He says, love your wife like Jesus loves the church, right?
Point.
So no one wants to be part of an abusive church, or everyone wants God to treat them right. Or treat me right, I should say. I want me and God to be good. I don't want to be like, chopped liver to God. He's like, or the church. So he's like, hey man, love your wife like God loves the church. And he laid his life down, got crucified, got tortured, went through hell, to show his love. Right. So that's the measuring stick God's telling us to treat our significant spouse, our others, our wives or our husbands, or so much more our wives. He's telling the guy to go ahead and lay down your life for her real quick. And I tell you, man, in my scenario, because I can't talk for every woman, husband out there, for my scenario, it's definitely backwards. My wife is definitely the one laying down her life for these kids and this husband right here. And, I might be good with the church folks, but she is definitely pouring and pouring and pouring. And yeah, she does get tired, man. And I have to step it up and make sure that when she's feeling weak or down, I'm there. I told her, I said, babe, do you just want to take a week off from us and just leave and go somewhere? I tell you, someone said that in a comedy show, Jim Brewer. He said, sweetie, do you just take a break and like Rocketeer? You can hear the rocket launcher go, and she's flying out of there. You're like, where did she go? Whoa. I'm waiting for someone to say you need a break. And I said that, and I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm like, please tell me just for a couple hours or something, but she didn't take my offer, but it's necessary. I don't know. I can't speak to other marriages. I see women keeping the house down, and I see the man paying the bills. But you're right. You have to have that romance there, or else it's just like duty, and
you said it right there, man. You hit it right on the dot right there.
You start thinking maybe the grass is green on the other side because you're just doing it out of duty. So here, one more, since you got me on the Bible. I heard this guy named John Piper said, okay, what's the difference? I knock on the door, and to surprise my wife for Valentine's Day, I got a dozen roses. She's like, Pastor Tony, why'd you give me these roses? It's like, well, I have to. It's Valentine's Day. And second scenario, knock on the door, open it up. My wife's like, Tony, you got me roses. Why'd you do that? Because I adore you. You deserve so much more than roses, but I thought, you know what? Maybe you should enjoy these. So there's just two different attitudes, and yeah, man, we get comfortable, we get complacent. But Jen, House, man, this whole life, I think God is trying to speak to me and hopefully others. Because the reality is, my wife is right now laying her life down all over the place with this family, and she is exhausted. She's a PhD student. She's a homeschooling mom. She's at karate right now with the kids. All last week, she's at a play with the kids. And then I'm like, babe, I'm feeling kind of lonely. You know?
Yeah.
So she's keeping the house together. And so man, I tell you, I need to have this conversation with you guys because the reality is the men should be laying their lives down for the wives, not vice versa. She should feel rested and comfort. As I find rest in my heavenly Father, she should be able to find rest in the heavenly Father, but in her husband as well. So she can do those great things that she does with the kids with a healthy spirit, with a healthy attitude, not with the just giving it the best shot she can because she's done. So
I seen that.
that's my 2 cents.
I seen that comment that Cholo Trucker made. Men should lead the way, and men should take care of the business and handle the stuff that needs to be done. But I look, how I see a woman should be right next to you, not behind you, right next to you, walking with you, aside of you.
Complimentary.
So men should be doing their thing. As times are changing. Sometimes like it's good for the men to go to work and provide for the woman and this and that, but sometimes things happen in people's lives, right? So now it comes to a point where the woman might have to work, both of them, in order to make it because of inflation and all this other stuff. Well, as a couple, they should come together and understand that and do what they have to do, and give praise to each other. You know what I'm saying? Give praise to each other for saying, "Hey, man, I'm proud of you and I thank you for putting it down," because that's what makes a relationship even tighter. Because sometimes because I know I used to be a provider big time, but when things happen, my life changed. I wasn't making all that money and blah blah blah. And in a relationship, financial things do play a part in it also. You know what I'm saying? So that does put a strain on a relationship, But when you're tied with God, and if you're both equally yoked, and things will work out because you believe in God, and God will bring you through. God will bring you through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
You have to be equally yoked.
Yeah, that's very helpful.
Yeah.
Very helpful, man. It's very helpful to be sober minded, be equally yoked, have the same hope, but yeah, man, I'm just yes, you got to lead, man. You got to lead, and like I said, so I am committing today. You heard it first on the round table. I am starting to start washing dishes. So next time Jen shows me a blessing and invites me over, I'll be like, "How many times you washed dishes since last I saw?" I'll be like, "I don't know. I lost count. So many."
And don't let your friends tease you saying, "Oh, your wife's got you doing the dishes."
Right? Yes.
I know I'm more of a man for doing it. I just don't like to do it.
You are, and you are. And let me just say this: it's not just men that do that to men. Women do that to women too.
Okay.
I have friends that have been like, "Girl, you took him his plate. Like, oh my, what are you, a slave?" Like, yes. And it's,
That's right.
you know what? If I am being treated how I appreciate, and I know that I feel safe and secure, and he's holding down the house, you're absolutely right. I'm going to take him, make the meal, take him the plate, all of that.
Pastor, I have a question, real quick.
Yeah.
Do you cook with your wife?
We trade off.
You
I've
trade
been
off?
on this low. I've been on this keto diet, so everything seems
Okay,
to be
okay.
Oh
complicated.
yeah.
But my wife can cook her butt off. But the stuff that she cooks now, I can't eat anymore. Pastas and all this stuff. So,
Okay, yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, we take turns cooking. We got some kids that are picky eaters. You know how that is.
Try to
We
cook try to cook
together.
together. Together.
Mm,
Take
I
the
end
time.
up hijacking the whole kitchen, so she ends up like she's like my sous
right.
cook, and it's yeah. But yeah, we'll
Yeah.
try that.
Look at-
I like doing it with the kids sometimes,
Yeah,
But
that's
Hey,
good
happy
too.
birthday to Bella this Friday,
Check
huh?
it out. Yes. Hey,
Yes, happy birthday,
happy
Bella.
birthday,
Wishing you
Belle.
a lot more
That's
birthdays,
right.
man. Yep, yep.
Yes. Happy birthday. We
hey,
love you.
before we close, since we're on a cooking tip,
Yeah.
you ever buy something and then realize like right after you bought it was a bad purchase?
Yeah.
Anyone ever do that? Like you feel like,
Let's
oh,
do
I
it.
shouldn't have bought it. It was a good idea when I bought it. Well, we were in Italy 2 months ago, and this, I thought this chef's hat with my church logo on it, Heart Life Church Phoenix, and I didn't realize I looked like a Roman cardinal in it.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's
The
exactly
chef
what I
had a
was
guy made.
thinking, Pastor.
What happened?
Hey.
Bless you, my child.
You know what?
Oh shoot.
You gotta like love it. Like we have to keep that like humor and you gotta love it.
Yeah, you
We
have
got
to.
in Italy, man. We spent this is place called Francis of Assisi. It's a monastery in Italy, and it's where they got the name San Francisco from. Saint Francis of Assisi. It's the same name, but in Italian or whatever. But we're walking up there, and there's just a little booth, and I'm like, hey, they do embroidery right now. 10 minutes, man. I had a chef's hat with my church name. I'm like, look how cool I am. Like my wife, and my kids, like, yeah, Dad, that's a little dumb. So anyway, so after imported, I smuggled it in myself from Italy, and now I'm like, this is really
That's
useless.
right.
That's
That's right. I
comedy.
feel like you know what? That is a piece that you're gonna put away and be able to speak about for like to children, grandchildren, and beyond.
You could even put it in a shadow box and frame it.
Yes,
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
I had a word.
Absolutely. Jojo AZ, tonight I made chili Colorado, beans and rice,
Oh, that's
tortillas. Kids are in there tearing it up, so they appreciate it. I know. I know they do.
that
Look at
chili
American Top
colorado
Chef.
is real good. That's some good stuff
Yeah.
there, man.
Yeah, that's what I made tonight. So they appreciate it. Oh, thank you, Bella. We love you, girl. We love you, and enjoy your birthday. Live it up. We
Yes,
know,
yes, definitely.
yes, we know that you have a family that loves you so much, and we do as well.
Yeah.
We
Mhm.
get Kristen. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, yeah. And Brenda's was today, right? Brenda's birthday was today.
Yeah. Who's Brenda? I know Denise's like niece or something.
Yeah, no,
No.
Brenda Love, she has a channel also.
Okay.
She is one of the mods as well on this channel. Let me see if we can share her channel
Okay.
while we're
Okay.
on here. I think it has to be either myself or a mod that shares it. But she is a beautiful person. So I'm
She
going to share
supports a
that.
lot of channels. She's in a lot of channels, and she's
Okay.
always there, very supportive, down to earth person, just chill, real nice, real
Yeah.
nice spirit.
Real sweetheart. Yeah, a real sweetheart.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, guys.
I
Last.
I like that hat. It's growing more and more as you keep it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah. I don't know if you guys can read it, man. The guy was, hey, this guy did it so fast. I remember I used to always go to this embroidery shop in South Phoenix. And I would go in that embroidery shop, and there was always a guy in there doing something. The store would be completely empty with a bunch of South Pole clothing. It's a bunch of cholo wear, and it had embroidery in the front. Embroidery. So I'd always go in there and say, hey, man, can I get my hat embroidered? Oh, no, the embroiderer is doing a show this week. Literally for 5 years. I go in that shop. Oh, no, the embroidery, same guy. The guy's not here. And then so when I walked out, some guy is like, hey, man, this is a front. If you're looking for drugs, this is no real clothing store or anything like that. Oh,
No
okay.
way.
I didn't know
Oh,
that.
wow.
You know, I thought I was gonna get a broader hat. So when this Italian guy, when Gillespie or Luigi is like, I can do that in 5 minutes. He grabbed the hat, he did it, free-handed right there and gave it to me like in less than 5 minutes.
Wow.
I'm like, wow, man, this is amazing. This is amazing.
If the writing wasn't on there, I was gonna call you Kid and Play. Was that Eraserhead?
Eraserhead. Yeah. Yeah, I
That's
saw that in
right.
the theater in 89.
So funny. You guys. That's what's up.
Hey, you see, and humor's a good thing, man, in a relationship, isn't it, Tony?
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
That's
man. You
all I
gotta
got
have a
going
good
for
sense
me.
of humor, man. You gotta have a
Right.
good sense of humor.
That's all I got going for me, man. You know what I mean? That's the way I escaped the pain. You know, that's the way I got through school and through the joint. You know what I mean? Keeping it light. You know, yeah,
Yeah.
man. It's too much sadness not to be able to have someone in the room that could be funny. You
Yep,
know,
yep.
so
Right.
I try to be that guy as much as I can.
That's good.
Unless
That's
someone's
good, man.
funnier than me, then I just
Tony, you said like that even helped you in the joint. Like humor can go a long ways then, right?
yeah, absolutely, man. I remember bullies becoming friends because of it. You know, like a bully, allies, I should say, better than bullies. You can make allies with being funny. You know, and I
Mhm.
remember my earliest days in junior high, just mimicking the teachers behind their back and seeing some of these, influential kids. And the next thing you know, when I'm about to get jumped at a bus stop in Richmond or something, they're talking to me so then I don't get jumped. And everyone's cool, just because they remember me and they're shaking my hand. So it's got me out some tight spots. Me and my uncle had a contagious laugh, real loud, real bassy. And anything I did, he would just laugh and he just felt his laugh. So, we just kind of, and then everything in the Bay Area, everything funny, everything in the world seemed like it was made in the Bay Area in the 80s and 90s, all the funny movies and stuff. So I just kind of, like, I just learned. You guys remember that movie Colors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or South Central, that movie South Central? What do those two movies have in common? Or Speed, the first one?
Comedy.
They have or that movie with that showgirls from that Saved by the Bell girl.
Oh yeah.
What do those movies have in common?
Uh,
This dude named Plummer, Glenn Plummer, is a black dude. In Colors, he was
Yeah.
eye top. He got beat up in jail.
okay, high top. Okay.
In Speed, he was the driver that Kenny Reeves took a car away from, and they're on the freeway. He's the black guy with the nice haircut. On South Central, he's like the main guy. He's like the main
Right.
character in South Central. Anyway, he's from Richmond, California. How
Wow.
did I not know that? I've been watching all his movies, and he's like from Richmond. I'm like, what, man? How come no one told me? Anyway, like North Richmond, not North Richmond, Point Richmond. That's where the whole freaking Pixar thing started. In Point Richmond, I'm like, what? I went to school in Point Richmond. It's like when you're a 13-year-old kid, no one tells you, hey, all these people are from your backyard. You just
Wow.
live there. And you're like, this place is ghetto. I gotta get out of here. But that's kind of cool. Anyway, side note.
Right. That's what's up, right?
Yeah.
You
And now,
know what? That's fun. You said did you mention Keanu Reeves right now?
Yeah, Speed.
Okay. So Keanu Reeves was here like today in in Soledad. That's like 45 minutes from me. Two Face Entertainment, Fred, I know that's where you're from. So one of my nieces saw him out there today, and I was like,
Wow.
oh, right on. Like, that would have been cool. I've got a little video of my grandma from, oh, God bless her heart. God rest in peace. Like 2 years ago on Christmas, she was like, oh, look at this. She had her little Apple tablet, Look at this guy. He had tattoos everywhere. She was telling me. And I feel like she was so pure, so, she and my grandfather were married from the time she was 16, 17. And just her telling me that story would bring tears to my eyes because it was just so beautiful and so innocent. She was like,
Wow.
oh, yeah, he's very nice.
What is,
So,
you know what? I thought I had a friend, not a friend, but I know somebody, a friend of the family's, And she goes, man, that's my man right there, Keanu Reeves, right? And I said, because there was word going around that he was with men or he liked men. I don't know if you
I
guys
remember
heard that. Yeah,
so, yeah.
yeah. So I says, I hate to bust your bubble, but he likes men, you know. And I told
Oh,
her that. She goes, no, he
that's
doesn't. He has a wife. He has a wife. But I guess it was just talk in the air, you know, that was going around a while back, you know.
yeah, you know how they
Yeah,
do. You never
yeah.
can know for sure. I know that he did. I mean, just an interview. I don't know for sure, but there was an interview with him and a woman a while back at some sort of award show, and I guess they've been together for a long time. And if it's
Wow.
true, God bless them, you know, and a shout out to them. I know that he's got a lot of people that vouch for him as far as being a good guy, you know,
Yeah.
picking up the bill for things on movie sets, you know, people that have been hurting. So, hey, if that's true, shout out to you, Keanu. I hope you enjoyed Soledad today and, you know,
That's
enjoy the
cool. That's
people.
cool to always see
Yeah,
somebody like that.
right?
Even if it's not face to face, you know, if you're having a distance or whatever, but you see that person, you know, and they're just
Yeah,
people just like you and me, you know.
Yeah.
They're you know, some people let it go to their head, but there's some people that are up there in status that are just normal, just like you and me, you know.
right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I remember having me and Pastor David at House of Rest when we were part of that circle. We
Mhm.
were having like lunch somewhere in close to Lake Tahoe, and I'm not, I'm eating lunch. We got tables, and I keep on seeing people kind of stare at our table, and I'm
Mhm.
thinking, is there a problem? Like, do they have a problem with Hispanic people in this restaurant? And then it dawned on me, no, man, is Pastor David is like he's somewhat of a people kind of recognize him still. He goes to a store or whatever, like, hey, Dino,
Okay,
Yeah.
in movies or whatever. So, but I didn't think. I was just thinking like, these people like keep on, you know, like what they, is this something wrong? Are we in the wrong place? So, but yeah,
Right.
there are normal people. The worst feeling is to meet a celebrity and call them the wrong name.
Oh,
I'm
I
like, hey,
know.
that's so and so. That's a dude from
Right?
Megadeth. Like, yeah, right. And they're like, what's his name? I'm like, nah, man, it's like Chuck. Hey, Chuck. And he looks back. Who the heck is Chuck, man? Walking around. Ah, you David. His name was David. Like,
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
oh.
That guy.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. So we always see you saying, raffle the hat, carnal.
And it cost me
Yeah.
$15. So, $15 for the highest bidder, right? Gee.
That's a,
Oh, man.
yep, yep, American World. Okay, let's see. A couple more comments. Yeah, I got familia from, you have familia from Chole and Salinas? Well, that's right here. I'm in Salinas. Chole is like, what, 30, 40 minutes from me. Yep. So that's right, right on. Preston. I just want to thank my brothers right here for being here tonight, for
Thank you, Jen.
showing up with, you know, not just your presence, but your knowledge, your wealth of intelligence. And, you know, I really place a lot of value in my friendship with you guys. My
Same here,
appreciation for
Jen.
you goes
Same here.
above and beyond. So I hope you
Thank you.
know that, you know,
Yeah.
your worth here on the round table, Convicted Hearts, and your friendship period is top notch.
Hey, did you see what Cholo Trucker just wrote?
Oh no, wait till I
Wait
get a
till I
little
get a
more
little more popular.
popular.
Abusing
No,
power is the name
no.
of the game, baby.
Oh, he's coming for you guys.
Uh
I'm telling
oh.
you. This is
Uh
crazy.
oh.
That's the
Hitler's
hearing I feel.
back. Hitler's back.
That's right. He's coming. Hey, good night, everyone.
Hey,
Have a good one.
Gilbert. Send mine to Gilbert. I didn't even notice him in the chat. Hey, send mine,
Yeah,
carnal. Much respect to you, brother.
that's
Much
right. That's
respect,
right.
carnal.
Vanessa, same to you. Everyone in the chat. Let's see who we can shout out, guys. Two Face
You,
Entertainment, The Crusted, Sergio,
Jojo,
Chief,
Crusted,
Jojo
Cholo
AZ,
Trucker,
Jojo
Vanessa.
Trust,
Yep. Top
Shout out
American
to
Top Gunner. Yep.
Shout out to our
Stella.
church, Heart Life Phoenix, Brother Jack,
That's
Brother
right.
Leon, Pastor
Art Life.
Leon,
That's right. You guys tap into the
Brother
church
Moses.
on
Yeah, every
Sunday.
Sunday at 11 o'clock, man. Well,
Okay.
if we're trying to preach it down to 25.
So that's on the Heart Life.
Harley
Well,
Phoenix.
shoot. Okay, Heart Life Phoenix. I'm gonna put that in the description
Yeah.
of
on the
this,
YouTube.
the Roundtable series episode, and you guys can tap in Sunday. Don't get caught
Thank you.
slacking.
Yeah,
Okay.
man.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you, brothers, for being here and sharing
Thanks,
your
Jen.
knowledge. And
Thanks, House.
Thank you.
You
Thank
know
you,
what?
brother. Nice seeing you again, Pastor. Always a pleasure, brother. Always
Yeah,
a pleasure,
man, it was a
Pastor.
blast.
You know, forgive me if I don't, because I normally call pastors pastors. It's out of respect, you know, and forgive me because I don't know if, because you seem young, you don't seem, I don't know, but I would consider you a pastor, brother.
No, I
Out of
appreciate
respect.
that. I
Yes.
appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Peace, better
I
man. That's
understand,
right.
man.
I'm here.
When titles get to this, when the titles get to my head, then yeah, it's not a good thing no more. But I understand exactly. I'm Tony. I'm a child of God, man. I'm just trying to be faithful to what the Lord's called me to do. Share
That's
His
right.
news to
That's what,
people.
you know what? You look at me, but you know what? God uses me as an instrument, brother. You know what I'm saying? And He changed my life around, and He's using me. And even when somebody's broken, does He still use you? You know,
Absolutely.
and it's a blessing, and I feel good about Him using me. You know, and you feel that peace, you feel that joy. You know.
God,
That's right.
crooked sticks draw straight lines, right?
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah.
There we go. All right, guys. Buenas noches. Until
All
next
right. Good
time.
night, Jen.
Next
Good night,
Tuesday,
Pastor.
6:30.
Thanks, Joel.
God bless you guys.
You guys are
Thank
the
you for
best.
being here. Have a
God
blessed
bless.
evening.
God bless everybody.